Hi there, this is RockinRobin and you are at RockinRobin's Garage Sale Finds. Today I'm going to talk to you about items I got stuck with, items I couldn't sell on eBay, items you might not be able to sell on eBay, maybe at the flea market I couldn't sell them, or Poshmark, or Facebook Marketplace. They were tough sellers. I don't want you to get stuck with items you can't sell. So I'm going to talk about some of the items I got stuck with and some things you shouldn't buy or at least not be on the specialty for. Stay with us. We'll be right back and we'll talk about that. Thanks for coming back. This is RockinRobin. We have been selling on eBay for 20 years, so we know a lot about what's going on with that. We've never stopped. We've been doing it consistently. We have been selling on Poshmark for a couple of years. That is kind of new to us. We're learning still, but we sell well on it, but not as good as eBay. And we sell at the flea market. Right now, we're not able to sell at the flea market. Wednesday, late April, not a great time to sell because the coronavirus is out there. And we also sell on Facebook Marketplace. So that's a good place to sell as well. What I'm going to tell you is a little bit about what items we got stuck with and what I don't want you to get stuck with. Let's start. All right, the first one is Avon Bottles. Now, they have all these fancy bottles. Some may look like a boot, some may look like a bell. They're all different kinds of things. At one time, they were good sellers. Right now, nobody wants Avon bottles. It's hard to sell Avon bottles. If you go and you have a collection, even if they have 50 and you're getting $20, I couldn't do it. There might be one or two you can look up and maybe one or two are worth something, but in general, nobody's buying them. It's not that they're not nice and they may be good in 10, 15 years. Somebody may say, I'm dying for Avon bottles. But right now, I have a hard time selling them. I don't have any anymore. I just end up donating because I couldn't sell them. So Avon bottles, avoid unless you know what you're doing. The next item, decanters. I used to buy a lot of different decanters. I used to have decanters of all different kinds. And like I said, again, they were boots and they were cool stuff, but nobody is getting those kind of things anymore. It seems like everything goes in phases. And right now you don't want to sell decanters. They're hard to sell. I'm not saying you couldn't. You might be able to, and I'm certain there's some that are out there that people want, but you have to be very fussy. Don't buy them unless you look them up first and see that they're the ones selling. Otherwise, you're probably going to get stuck with them and you don't want to do that. Third item. This one, so many people make mistakes. It's terrible. Fakes. I don't care whether it's clothing or purses or what it is. If you have an item that's fake, you're going to get in trouble. When I was in Connecticut, I had a fellow business who also did eBay, and they had an eBay consignment store. I think it was in West Hartford, and someone had brought in Coach purses and they sold the Coach purses and they were fake and they got shut down. I felt really bad for them. I was glad it wasn't me. I hate to do things that are fake, and I'm sure they were able to get reopened. I don't really know too much about it, but I felt bad because I hate to see other people not do well. I always want to see everybody succeed and be happy and make money, and I had been telling people for years it's great to do eBay, and then that happened to them. So I felt bad for them. So don't sell fake purses. If you know they're fake, don't sell them. They have to be the name. If you don't know what you're doing, don't even buy them. I tend to go and buy them still now, and I go, what am I doing? I get home and I don't know what to do with this item. Terrible. Same thing with clothing. I don't know clothing that well. I'm starting to learn. There's not as many fakes, so it's a little bit better, but be careful. The next thing is artwork. You don't want fake artwork. You want real artwork. You got to be sure. But you also don't want ordinary plain household artwork that you can get anywhere. It's very hard to sell. I couldn't sell them at the flea market. I couldn't sell them on eBay. I can't sell them on Facebook Marketplace. I've tried all three. There are some very nice ones, and if you're an art person, by all means sell art because you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, don't waste your time. You have to know something about everything in this business, and art is very fussy. I leave it to the art dealers, to the experts. If they know something, they do it. Don't get me wrong, I've sold some great pieces of art. I've gone to auctions and researched the names, researched the items, and bought some great pieces and sold them for a lot of money on eBay. But if you're not doing that, don't bother. I won't go to a garage sale and just pick up a piece because I think it's nice or I think it's going to sell. I'll either look it up or I just will let it pass and not even bother. Really fussy with artwork. So don't just buy any old piece. Don't try to sell a piece you bought in your kitchen that you bought 10 years ago for $12. Not worth it. All right, next thing. I love lamps. Hard to sell lamps. Number one, shipping them, they break. They break very easily. There's some fakes. I have some real Tiffany's and I really like them and they're great. Again, if you're a lamp expert, maybe lamps are great for you, but for the typical seller, they're difficult sell. So I try to avoid them because, hey, I don't want to sell them. I don't want to break. I don't want people to return them. I don't want a lot of problems, and they're hard to store. You know, you have to put them all over. And I have some nice vintage consolidated Phoenix lamps, some Tiffany lamps. I'm just going to hold on to them for now. All right, now here's an item that's kind of strange. We had sold a nice electronic drum set at one point for $280 at a garage sale. Well, we found a similar one and we bought it. It had some problems. I had someone look at it. I put it up. I've had no interest. I've tried Facebook Marketplace, I've tried eBay, and I have tried the flea market, and this drum set is just not moving, and I put it at $100. It's a nice electronic drum set, but right now, I guess it's just not the time. So be careful when you buy instruments as well. Even violins, I've been lucky where I bought some violins and they've sold for some decent money, but a lot of times they're not worth it. So unless you're an instrument, violin, drum person, be careful what you buy. Don't just think, oh, it's gonna sell for a lot. Look it up. I always tell people to look everything up before they buy. Okay, another thing that's very typical, a lot of people buy it, are jewelry. Some jewelry is great, some jewelry you can sell. Earring studs are difficult. I can't sell earring studs. They're not worth my time. Plain costume jewelry. I look for sterling silver. I look for gold. And I look for vintage that's unique or different. It used to be Sarah Coventry used to be big. Now it's so-so. Avon, so-so. But if they're vintage and they're very different or they're antique, they're great. If they're, like I said, sterling silver or gold, they'll sell. But plain costume jewelry that's very boring, very ordinary, you're going to get stuck with. Earring studs. I am selling jewelry right now because I have a lot of it and I bought it over the years. But normally, I stay away from jewelry unless it's sterling or gold. I don't even look for vintage anymore. But some people sell a lot of it. So jewelry is not a bad thing to sell. It's just, you sell it for a low price usually, unless you know what you're doing. And you have to be very fussy on what you buy. It's a tough thing. And a lot of people buy gold and silver and they just bring them to a pawn shop and get the value of it, because it's sometimes you get more there than you would on eBay. So you got to be careful. Okay, another thing, I talk a lot about pocket knives. But you do not want to buy cheap Chinese pocket knives. Some of them are fancy, some of them are cool. If you're buying them for yourself, that's fine. But they're hard to sell. I sell a few pocket knives online because if they're worth a lot of money, I know I can get them. But otherwise, I sell them mostly at the flea market. And what I have found is they want American or German. There's some others that are good as well. They like, European knives are usually very good. But Chinese knives are bad. Japan, so-so. Pakistani, don't bother. So if you see a bunch of cheap knives and they say made in China on them, leave them, because you're not going to get money. You might not get anything for them. You might as well just leave them there. All right. Here is an item that we bought at one time. I went to a garage sale in New Hampshire, and I bought 100 of these for $1 each. They were plates. They were Danbury Mint, Bradford Exchange. And they were animals and birds, I think. And I sold them for $10 to $20 each. Now, this is when eBay first started, and that was fine. But now, I can't sell plates for anything. Those collector plates, you can be very fussy. There's some that sell maybe an Elvis or somebody fancy like that, but they're not selling for as much as they did. So that's another thing you want to make sure you look up. Always take your cell phone with you. Always have eBay handy. Always look them up. There may be one or two that are worth a lot, but unless you know what you're doing, just like everything else, Plates are hard to sell. Danbury Mint, Bradford Exchange, any of those type of things that are plates. There are some other things made by those companies that are great to sell, but right now plates are difficult. The vintage plates, I don't even look at them anymore. I just avoid them. Next item, I used to sell a lot of. When I was in Connecticut, I rented space at a co-op, and I sold antique furniture and different things, and I sold a ton of teacups and saucers. I can't sell any teacups and saucers anymore. I used to buy them for $5 and sell them for up to $25. Now, nobody's looking for teacups and saucers, so I do not even look at them. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a few that are worth some money and you can sell on eBay, but in general, the typical one, it's not worth what it used to be worth, so I would avoid it if you can. It's not a big thing. Hey, if you like our page, I want to make sure that you subscribe now, and give us the thumbs up. I love to have a like that. And if you hit the bell, we'll notify you next time we have a new video. And also, we have a contest coming up, so if you write in the comment section, contest, we will pick a $20 iTunes winner. If you put contest in the comment section and put the tip that we gave you was the best in any of our videos, you can choose one from this video if you like and put it there. Then when we get to 300 subscribers, I will choose someone to win a $20 iTunes card. And hey, it might be you. You never know. Let's give it a try. All right, so I want to talk to you about a couple more items. Try to avoid buying. And one is unmarked glass. Whether it's clear or crystal or colored, even depression glass is difficult right now. You want, there has to be a name, like a Waterford is a good name. There's a lot of different names that are good, but if there isn't a name on it, it's unmarked, I wouldn't buy it. Some people say they're still selling depression glass. I can't sell it like I used to, and if I sell it and I buy it for $1, I'm really not getting more than $10 for it, and it's not always. Most of the time, it's sitting in my closet, in my drawer, in my boxes, waiting to be sold and not going anywhere. I saw somebody sell some at a flea market recently, and they did, but they were selling for $5 a piece. I mean, it's disappointing. Even carnival glass is tough to sell, and you have to have really nice and really know what you're doing. A lot of these things that I sell, if you know what you're doing and you're an expert in them, go ahead and sell them. But if you're not, these are hard things to get as a seller. And I'm just giving you advice because we've been doing this a long time, and I want to see you make money. I don't want to see you go out there and waste your money buying things that you can't resell, that are going to be difficult, that are going to sit a long time, that you could have bought something that will sell. You know, I give you a lot of videos showing items that will sell. Look at those. Avoid those items. So this is RockinRobin. I hope I've helped you a little bit. You know, my goal is to always help you. Leave a comment telling me if you've sold one of those items and you sold it for a lot of money and I'm crazy, let me know. We want to know what the item you sold was and what you should be looking at. Everybody wants to know. So go around your house or put something good up today. Today's a good day to put something good up. Put it up on eBay and go make yourself some money. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll have a flea market tip of the week.